Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Beyond the Headlines, the show where we talk about matters pertaining to India's internal security and also matter pertaining to global perspective which somehow affect India. And joining me as always is our senior correspondent Vicky Nanjapa. Vicky, welcome to Beyond the Headline.
Thanks, Akash. Thank you.
So, Vicky, interesting topic today that we are discussing is the curb on foreign fundings as far as the Modi government is concerned, and how they have somehow single-handedly, cut down those hands that are raising against India and for the anti-India activities. So, a very interesting, article that was published a few days ago, which said that Congress, who has this. One of these NGOs under the name of Rajiv Gandhi actually gotten somewhere around more than 1.35 crore rupees as donation from the Chinese embassy, and also 50 lakh rupees from Zakir Naik's Islamic Foundation. So first of all, Vicky, and this was pointed out by the Home Minister Amit Shah in the parliament itself. So the question arises, first of all, how legal is this that a political organization like Congress party, which is the grandest party of them all in terms of when we say the tenure it has been here in India, and then when these kind of things happen, so how does one talk with a straight face when we talk about anti-India activities?
Yeah, number one point, actually, see, there is the FCRA through which, foreign funding is not barred, actually. That is one. The issue is that, you need to actually declare it. That is one. Okay. And also, the thing is, where this government has actually tightened it is that, the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation got that grant from the Chinese embassy, saying that, they're going to do a research on India-China relation. Okay. So what the Home Minister was basically pointing out is, Home Minister was basically trying to point out is that, okay, fine, you got this one, but what exactly has been your research? When we lost so many thousands and hectares of land after the, this one, what is that, after the 1962 war, has that been part of your research? Because that also involves India-China relations. Okay. And I think that Arunachal CM was actually once told that you don't need a visa to come to China because we consider Arunachal to be part of China. Now, was that part of the research? So these were the questions which he was asking. When you say India-China research, what is it? That is the problem. Okay. So this is what he was sitting and pointing out. They clearly don't have any answer. So that is why the licenses were revoked yesterday. And there was that question which was to be asked in the parliament, but Congress decided to create that ruckus, especially at a time when, defense minister was to make a statement on the Tawang clash, what happened there on December 9th. So it doesn't bode too well, that you have a thing like this. I mean, is it that China has always been a friendly country? No, not exactly. We've always had problems with them. When a country is telling you that, we claim Arunachal, we have, this much of a thing on Eastern Ladakh, it doesn't bode well for you to take a funding from them and, do on research. And when you say research, you have to cover all these aspects, right from the 1962 war. And what the Home Ministry found was there was absolutely no research or anything going on. Okay, so that is one part, which does not actually this one, what is that, bode too well, that, hosting that Chinese embassy people, especially when the situation is so tense out there. There was Galwan Valley.
And I remember this thing, Vicky, when we talk about the Congress and its closeness with China, though it's, deviating a little bit from the topic of foreign funding. We do remember that when, India had these, kind of skirmishes with China in the very recent past, Rahul Gandhi, went and met the Chinese officials in the Chinese embassy also.
Exactly. After the Galwan clash, if you sit and do that, and then, you have this Chinese funding and I don't know what kind of, it sends across a very, very bad message at this one, and you clearly don't have any explanations for that either. Okay, so that is.
So we keep like in terms of when we talk about activities of questionable nature when it comes to India. So we all remember on this channel itself, a few days back we had these conversations about churches getting these foreign fundings, and they are using that kind of a money for forced conversion of tribals, and then indulging themselves into activities that are hampering the development programs here in India. So what do you have to say about that then, those kind of foreign fundings?
Yeah, see, the thing is this, FCRA was amended again in 2020 actually. And what basically happened is a lot of funding was coming in, and you're not supposed to have a political affiliation if you're an NGO, actually. That is number one point. Okay, that is the thing. So, which means the foreign funding is coming in, and then you have some kind of a political affiliation, and you're using the same fund to have conduct bands, hartals, and orchestrate violence out here. Number one. Second thing, for these Christian missionaries, okay, are the most dangerous. A lot of people there, because the thing is they come in the name of a tribal rehabilitation, or say humanitarian ground and things like that, and quietly they start using that money to convert. So they lure people with money, they convert. So I don't think there is any harm in curtailing that kind of thing. Nobody's saying don't do humanitarian work, but it cannot come at a cost where it is used for conversion or it is used for violence. Okay, like we saw in the name of Jammu Kashmir, separatism or something. You can't allow funding for such things.
Correct, Vicky. So fundings, as far as if we go by this report, so it said that somewhere around more than 16,000 NGOs, their licenses were revoked, and around more than 400 NGOs that again applied for these kind of license to be renewed. So MHA finally said no, these kind of things will not fly any more. But the question arises now, Vicky, that how long will it take for government to fish out these kind of NGOs that is working on such kind of different campaigns?
You see, it is a campaign that which has started since 2010, and then it became much stronger as the years grew and things. This government has, I've noticed one thing is that in every 2-3 years they've had something or the other to do with the foreign funding. Like in March, there was a massive CBI raid which happened on the foreign division of the MHA one, where they realized that so many officials were there hand in glove with this one, and Hawala transactions happening, and some 2 crores or something was traced down as bribe money which came in through Hawala and things. So it is a constant process. It does take time. The huge cleanup has happened over the past 6 to 8 years now. That is one thing. Huge cleanup. But after all that cleanup, you realize that the rot is within there itself. That is one. So they have cleaned up that rot also. That is one. It will keep happening. These people will keep finding new ways to come out with money and things like that. This will take time, Akash. At least, I would say at least another 8 years more or something like that. If I'm being very optimistic, that is.
Yes, Vicky. So, understandable that there are these kind of bad apples that are working within the system that always help these foreign fundings for by one method or another method, and helping these NGOs gain foreign traction. But if we talk in terms of not in India, but also, moving outside the India, so is the government actually planning anything like that, these kind of foreign fundings that are coming from outside, they could be stopped in the foreign land itself? There could be a filter mechanism there itself at the mission level, which could help India cut down significantly on these illegal foreign fundings that these NGOs get?
See, currently, as for the new amendment now, the thing is, what happens is, it is not, you can't stop it there, because, there is a law which says that it is allowed. Okay. The only biggest challenge is that what is it being used for? Okay. That is one thing. Now, it is mandatory that, you register your NGO, and you're supposed to have a State Bank of account in Delhi, actually. So the monitoring is not the problem there about the fund coming in. The bigger challenge is to see what it is being used for, because it is a very tricky issue. I mean, what if there is an NGO, which is actually doing good work, say for the girl child or for women empowerment or for wildlife and things like that. You can't, stall it because of, I mean, in this case, I wouldn't say some bad apples, a lot of bad apples. That is one thing. Okay. That, who in itself, when you say NGOs like on taboo kind of word, they have made it into one thing. That is going to be actually the challenge. That is, funding coming in is not the problem, Akash. That is not the issue at all. Because, it is coming and hitting a proper source. I mean, unless it is coming through Hawala, that is another thing. That is a different challenge altogether. But making sure that these NGOs spend it correctly is going to be this one. And one more thing is that the tightening of the norms, this registration, this constant filing, this constant reports and things like that. Only an NGO which is, doing honest work will be able to do it. Like, I have nothing to hide. Come and have a look at whatever I have. Only these guys have to hide, Like, they say that I want to buy pencil paper in the name of, something, and then they go buy something else, like Tista Settlement case, whatever happened, that one. So those kind of, things are going to be tricky, and you'll have to have the agencies full-time tracking them at that.
Right. And like, why does it take so much time for the agencies in terms of, catching these people who are indulged in anti-India activities using foreign funds, especially NGOs? If we talk about, clearly, if we talk about the Shaheen Bagh protest or the farmers' protest, there must be some funding coming in, maybe not from the country, maybe from the outside.
Correct. See, what happens is it's not a very easy thing to do. That is one. Because, there is too much to keep a watch on, because as we keep saying, you can't have one policeman for every citizen of the country. But at least now that, you've got to know what the funding is, how it is coming, what is happening and things like that. So it's by and large kind of tightened. That is one. And for a Shaheen Bagh-like protest, I mean, they can raise it locally also, the funds. That is one thing. They can raise it locally. They can go to some, sympathetic businessman or, somebody else and raise it locally. But yeah, that is also another challenge. There are two types. This is now which is coming through an official channel and, they use it for some other purpose. That is one challenge. Other one is it is coming through the Hawala channel. So that is being worked on to a large extent, because if you see, they've actually managed to completely shut down that thing, at least for the separatists in Jammu Kashmir. As a result of which I see separatism is almost dead there. So you can make out that it was all separatism for the sake of money. That is one. So that actually is the biggest source when you cut, when every ideology gets cut after that, actually.
True, Vicky. So in the end, let's hope that, the government is able to tighten the news on these, illegal, activities that are happening in the name of getting foreign funds, and then, pushing that money into anti-India activity or activities that are hampering the Indian society at large. Well, on that note, thank you very much, Vicky, for joining me on Beyond the Headlines and sharing your insight with us.
Thanks so much. Thank you.